And the static electric charge on a flower's petals pulls on the hair on a bumblebee, and that allows a bumblebee to tell how much charge is on a flower's petals.
Well, let me go through a couple of fascinating things about that, because as interesting as it is that bees can pick up electrical fields, it's even as fascinating to me that the flowers are putting out an electric field. How do they do that?
Well, there's two ways. The first way is that the flowers have electrical charge distributed on their petals. Not very much. It's a very small electrical field, which is why we're quite astounded that bees can actually detect it. And the other way flowers can generate electric fields is that there is a passive electric field in the atmosphere almost all the time. It's generated by electrical activity around the world. And on a calm day, the electric field has about a magnitude of about 100 volts per meter. So if a flower just grows up to 30 centimeters above the ground, it will be at the ground potential, but the air around it will be at 30 volts of potential, and it'll have a very small static electric field just passively.
So the petals don't get grounded and lose their...
No, the petals are grounded, but the air around it is not grounded, and that's the difference that gets you an electric field.
And different petals have different size fields?
Yes, there's different charge distribution at different locations on the petals of different species of flowers. So two flowers of the same species will have a similar electric field, whereas two flowers of different species will have different electric fields.
And how did you discover that the bees are actually picking up on this electric field?
We gave them an experiment where we gave them an arena that had 10 flowers that we built. And all the flowers had the same shape, the same size, the same smell, and half of them had sugar water that the bees could drink from, and the other half had water that was filled with bitter quinine that bees don't smell, but they don't like the taste of. And you then put the sugar water flowers, you give them a small static electric field, about 30 volts is what we gave them. And then you let bees forage through the chamber, and you keep on moving the flowers around so the bees don't learn the locations of the flowers. And as they forage, they start to go to the flowers with the sugar water 80% of the time. So you know they've figured out the difference between the two sets of flowers. So the next step...
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, finish, please.
So the last step is you just turn off the voltage and then check to see if they can continue telling the difference. And when we turned off the voltage, they were unable to tell the difference, and that's how we knew it was the voltage itself that they were using to tell the difference between the flowers.